Let's talk football. Oh my God. Week 11 in
Crazy.
the books. Can
What?
you guys believe this?
No.
Can you believe week 11 is gone?
No. I feel like we just started.
And we are going to start it off with the Eagles beating the Chiefs at home in the rain. What went down? I'm assuming we all watched from beginning to end.
Yes.
I mean,
Holding our breath.
21-17, the Eagles pull it out.
Insane. Who did you have in your pick'ems? Who did you think was going to win this game?
So in our app where I did the pick'ems,
yes.
I went back and you'll laugh because I had Sanaz in my mind. Monica always changed it. I didn't change it. I went Chiefs at home after a bye. I did not think that they would lose.
Okay.
Who did you have?
I also had the Chiefs.
Sanaz?
I had the Chiefs as well.
Oh, see, I feel better when we all lose together.
Her team lost.
So why did you guys have the Chiefs? I know why I had them. Like, what did you...
I just thought Mahomes had, who wanted to really like stake his claim and like really like own the season and come in hot and just... I had great faith in them. Kelsey was home.
Right.
I just thought like everything was aligned for a win, but...
it's hard to get a win at Arrowhead. And that was my biggest thing is, it's one of those stadiums where it's really tough as an opposing team. And I thought that that would have been the swinger because I think both teams are really elite right now, both getting better. So I just went for home team advantage in that one.
Yeah.
So did I. I was like, there's no way they're going to lose after a bye.
Yeah.
And they're like they're going to, and it was Monday night.
Yes.
Under the lights.
Yes.
Like there's no way they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Even though, now let's go switch it over to the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
You still have one of the best teams in the NFL right now. You talk about now they actually have the best record in the NFL. I mean, 9-1. Here's the thing. I literally, I get up early, as you guys know, and I was thinking about getting prepared for our podcast. And I'm like, wait a minute. They lost. Their one loss was to the Jets.
That's
and I was
wild.
like, let me just go back and make sure that I'm seeing and remembering this right. And I'm like, yeah. The only team they lost to, of all people, was Zach Wilson and the Jets. It's so weird.
What a fluke. What a fluke.
It's so weird. And that's what I love about football is like literally you could beat Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, right?
Yeah.
Andy Reid, and then lose to Zach Wilson. It's crazy to me. But yeah, I mean, I think that the Eagles just, I don't know. Do you think they had this breakout game? I mean, did you guys think that they looked like a Super Bowl team, or do you think that it was just? What did you think about the game in general? Like,
I think it was a really good game. Like it was entertaining to watch. Both teams brought it. It was such a close score at all times. You kind of just didn't know who was going to get the next touchdown, who's going to get the next points. And it was exciting. I just, till the very end, I didn't know, like, will they win? And then
because they could have pulled it out.
Disappointing dropped pass right at the very end. That was so devastating.
Yeah.
And they absolutely could have pulled it out. I thought they were going to.
There was a few drop passes.
So, yeah.
That, I mean, one of them, was it in the end zone or pretty close to the end zone?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but it could have been a game changer. But the stats, I mean, Hurts was, I mean, these weren't great stats. I mean, 14 for 22, 150 yards, 1 interception.
Yeah.
And I think he ran the touchdown, and I don't even think he had a throwing touchdown in that game. Mahomes was 24 for 43, 100. Both of these guys were under 200 yards.
Yeah.
2 TDs and 1 interceptions for Mahomes. So I don't know that it was like their best showing, but and then of course maybe was it because Taylor wasn't there?
I think because Taylor wasn't there.
They're gonna go. I mean, there's a stat now. Like you talked about last month, I'm like, Taylor Swift has her own stat. That's a boss.
Her own NFL stat.
You don't even know football, and now you have your own stat. That's a boss. 4-0 when she's there, I think they said, and Kelsey's averaging 108 yards when she's in the building. Right? And without Taylor Swift in the building, he averages 41.
Yeah, half.
But
less than half.
I mean, he does have a Super Bowl ring before he met her.
Absolutely.
Let's give him that, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, the Eagles take that one. And, their next games, though, this will be interesting.
Oh, tell me.
Bills should be a W.
Okay.
49ers, loss.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I agree.
Okay, I was like, it was kind of a joke, but not really. But you guys were like kind to me. Okay. The Cowboys, that's going to be a great game.
Yeah, can go either way.
On the 10th, I think. And then the Seahawks. So,
wow.
So their next 4 games, it'll be interesting to see, what they can really pull out. But
wow.
Yeah. So another one of the games that could have gone, I think, either way was, believe it or not, the Raiders and Miami.
That was,
that was a very entertaining game to me.
It was. And I liked what Mike McDaniel said after the game too, but we'll get to the game first. But yeah.
What did he say?
He said the reporters were asking him, like, was he disappointed in the game, in his team's performance? Because I think most of us thought it would be a bigger blowout. The score would be not so close, and it would be a higher scoring game with Miami, and you just didn't see it playing out how it did. And so he was just like a little cheeky, and he was just like, wow, we put up over 400 yards, and I mean, it looks like we played a pretty good game to me. Like, I'm proud of what we did. Like, he just was like, I'm not worried about it. I think we played great. Right. So yeah, I think
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What are your thoughts?
I mean, turnovers were a problem in that game, but I truthfully don't think it was Miami's best performance. I think if the Raiders had a better quarterback, they could have probably won that game.
Yeah.
O'Connell.
That's true.
And, as far as like the Raiders and Miami, obviously, I think a lot of people thought it would be a blowout.
Yeah.
But it was not.
No.
I mean, it was a one game. I mean, it's a one touchdown difference.
Yeah.
And they could have pulled it out.
Absolutely.
I mean, they could have pulled it out. And I was kind of hoping that the Raiders would pull it out just because I love to see an upset. Yeah. By the way, shout out to all our Raider fans on our page. Hey. They came out, man. Did you see one of the posts that we put? It was like, the Raiders came out of nowhere. I'm like, oh my God, like they were there and they found us. So they were just like, some of them were like, it's going to be horrible to watch. And some of them were like, no, I see an upset. But I think everybody got a little bit of what they wanted, which was a decently good game and not a blowout, right?
Totally, yeah.
By the way, I believe that during Thanksgiving, which happy Thanksgiving almost.
Happy Thanksgiving, ladies.
Talk about that. What are you doing?
Oh, home with the family. Okay. Yeah, a little bit of cooking. I do the sides, not the main dish, but that's all I can do.
Well, with how many kids?
4 kids.
Okay, you're almost there with Phil Rivers.
I know, we're almost tied, Phil.
So good, you don't have the whole.
No, thank goodness.
And Sanaz is doing Friendsgiving.
Yeah, I'm not cooking this year. So it'll be the first year in a long time. So
I'm gonna be with some good
friends.
Yeah, good for you, sister.
Well, I bring it up because I hear that on Thanksgiving that they are going to be giving John Madden his flowers. Did you guys hear about the tribute?
No.
Yeah, and me. First of all, without going down the rabbit hole, John Madden was one of my very favorites. And if you're new to our podcast, John Madden was one of the best anchors, broadcast guys in the booth Monday night. Like that's what I grew up with.
He's the voice of football.
Oh, he was the voice of football. He's the first one I remember who actually made it funny.
Yeah.
Like he would circle weird shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's me. Like if he was here right now, he would circle the visors. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, he's that guy. He would circle things that I would catch watching it, but nobody else would actually comment on.
Absolutely.
Like he wasn't so stiff.
Right.
And so I love that they're giving him his flowers. By the way, a lot of people probably don't know this. He was an offensive tackle. He actually played the game. Amazing. And he actually played for the Eagles one year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I did not know that. And then he was the linebackers coach for the Raiders from 1967 to 1968. And then he became the head coach of the Raiders from 1969 to 1978, and actually won a Super Bowl. He beat the Raiders beat the Vikings in the Rose Bowl, by the way, in 1977.
Wow.
So there's a little bit of history. So if you see that Thanksgiving or hear about that, that's what they're talking about. And he was just, and after he, became, he came into the booth. I mean, that's really when he just took it to another level.
Yeah.
I mean, just
and
a
now
great
we know
guy.
him for Madden football. I mean, now Madden and NFL are like synonymous. I mean, they are one and the same. I feel
Have
like
you
for
ever
so
played
many
Madden?
people. Not well.
Have you?
Not
Yeah, a couple
I've
times.
never played.
It's fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
I gotta get on that. But
fine.
again, isn't it a big thing to be on the cover of Madden? Like that's
Yeah,
a
no,
thing.
it's not a good thing.
A Madden curse.
It's not a good thing?
Yeah, it's a curse.
Oh, it's a curse. See, you guys are teaching
Well,
me
Josh
something.
Allen, right? That he was the last one.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
And where is he this year?
So I do remember that when you get on, it's kind of like the Kim Kardashian's curse. Is
Yes,
that it?
yes.
Like you get on, you finally get the cover, but then the next year you shit the bed, as
Yeah.
Sanaz would say.
Yeah.
Right? Not good.
A Sanazism.
A Sanazism. Well, it was a good game. AP got his first loss.
Yes,
So under
yeah.
AP, they're 2-1, 2 wins, 1 loss. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. My boy Mozart did pretty good though. For Miami, he had 86 yards. Tua had 325 yards and 2 TDs. So
I think we saw Miami put up 70 points earlier this year. So it's just, we know they can do it.
Yeah.
And so when they are put in games like we just saw, when it's like, come on, like do what you do. We know you can do it. I think that was a surprising point of the game. That it wasn't higher scoring on Miami's side, because they have the ability. We know they can do it, but it was still a good game.
Exactly.
They pulled it out.
Well, let's. How are we feeling about the mustache on O'Connell? Are we good with that? You think
I hate it.
You think he's going to keep it the whole year?
I hate
I
it.
know how you like to change things up. You're big on changing up the look. So,
If he
do you
loses 2 more times,
okay, that's it.
Something's got to change.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
Something's
You heard
got
it
to
here.
change, which we're going to get to, because speaking of changing it up, actually, the Broncos. The Broncos. Oh my God. They won. I mean,
The way you said that.
well, I don't even know if I picked them. I don't remember, but the Broncos, it was like I woke up and wait a minute. Are the Broncos 5-5? Are the Broncos 5-5?
Wow.
They started out 1-5.
Wow.
They have won 4 in a row? I mean,
I just
what is
blacked
happening?
all of that out. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what's happening. Sean Payton changed his visor and went to a cap. What did I tell you
the
guys?
last 4 games? That's wild.
I don't know if it's the last 4, but we have to go down the rabbit hole.
We do.
But all of a sudden, he's not wearing a visor and he's winning, which goes back to what I was telling you guys 2 podcasts ago.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wild,
something
yeah.
happened. Something's
Okay.
happened over there. But let's talk about the Broncos. I mean, first of all, shout out to the Bronco fans who are still who took that hit. I mean, it was not pretty, right? I mean, what was happening over there? I mean, Russell's back. Keep stacking
quote
up
himself to himself.
Keep stacking up those wins quietly. Don't give yourself another let's ride.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens.
Oh Lord.
I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that game?
I mean, the Broncos are getting a little cheeky. They, if you start noticing, some of their play calls this weekend were Max Verstappen. Little nod to F1 because Lewis Hamilton's a part owner of the Broncos. He drives for the Mercedes team for F1.
Oh, so someone sent me something, and I didn't
Yeah.
even get a chance to open it. So
He's
what
getting
is
a
it?
little cheeky saying Max Verstappen, which is kind of like a dig to Lewis because that's his biggest competition. But we love that. Bring in other sports to football, It's better than Omaha, for goodness
Oh
sake.
my God, that's interesting. I did not know that.
No, me either.
By the way, on the Vikings, just a little, they had 4 straight games without allowing a touchdown in the first half. So I don't know. And what's crazy to me is, they've lost their quarterback, right? Your boy's gone,
Cousins.
right?
Yep.
And still, they were in it, but Justin Jefferson, that was what I was thinking of. Mr. Gritty himself.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to play, and they were winning. I thought once they lost him, they would just tank.
Yeah.
And they're actually
did okay.
have been doing well enough
Yeah.
without him. So I don't know. It's I don't know what they're gonna do. And then you have Dobbs as their quarterback, right? And
Have you
he's
heard they call him the Dobstronaut?
I
Have you
love
heard that?
it.
The Dobstronaut. He was a little out to space. He did not come home. Come back to Earth, Dobstronaut. Come back. Yeah, he was just, it wasn't his best game.
No. Well, that guy, I forget how long he's been in the league, but he's been on 9 different teams.
Wow.
9.
Wow.
And he's been with the Steelers and the Browns twice.
Wow.
Like they had him, let him go, and then brought him back. Both teams. 9. And by the way, did you know he was on 3 teams just this year.
No.
Yeah. He was on the Browns, the Arizona Cardinals, and now he's on the Vikings. Pobrecito.
Wow. I know. So it's like, what can we expect from him, right? I mean, when you're bouncing around, having to adjust to different teams like that.
Mm-hmm. I will make you laugh because I have Sanaz in my head from last podcast when she was like, Monica always changes it up her podcast, changes up the pick'ems.
Yeah.
I freaking did it again yesterday. I swear to God. I had Broncos picked. Okay.
And then?
They were Sunday night. I'm watching the Niner game with another Niner faithful, and this nice little piece on Dobbs comes over the television. And it was just talking about how he's
Dobstronaut
and how, him being so smart and his studying, to be a NASA and all that helps him. He sold me. Basically, he sold me. By the time he was done with the interview, I go, you think I should change it? She goes, yeah. And I'm like, change. And I'm like, damn it. And then I remember what my dad used to say, always go with your first instinct.
Yes.
So I did lose that one. And now all I can think of is Sanaz because of what she said. You ruined me. You ruined me.
Lord.
But so Sean Payton, by the way, I'm just saying, I don't know if you remember the drama this year with Sean Payton talking bad about Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator for the Jets. The reason why I'm talking about this is because this is something you want to keep your eye on.
Okay.
So Sean Payton, who was formerly with the New Orleans Saints as a head coach, had some trouble there under, what was it, Gate when he tried to kill my Niners. Not Watergate. Well, Bountygate. So he got in trouble for basically telling his team to take out my boy, the running back for the 49ers.
Yes, it's coming back.
This is going way back.
Yeah,
this is a little bit of history, but I'm going to tie it in, right? All that to say, he did an interview, Sean Payton, when he got to the Broncos, and saying what a horrible job. It was the worst coaching job in the NFL.
Right.
Of Nathaniel Hackett, who was formerly of the Broncos,
right,
who he took over for. So basically, he talked really bad about the coach that was there before him.
Yes.
Now, that coach just happened to go to the New York Jets and was BFF with Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Then Aaron Rodgers chimes in on his little Twitter and saying, he pulled the Will Smith and said, keep my coach out of your mouth. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But all that to say, but now look what he said. He said it was the worst coaching job in the NFL that he's ever seen with that quarterback being Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And now he's 5-5. He's turning that franchise around. All that to say.
And the
Jets are losing.
Yes.
So did Sean Payton act, and he got crucified for saying that. For talking bad about another coach.
Yeah.
But now you look at him and you're like, hey, maybe he was right.
Yeah.
Maybe he was like, I can turn that franchise around. You did a horrible job. And here we are at 5-5.
What do you think?
As the NFL turns?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
To be seen. TBT.
To be saying. All right. Anything we would have got on the Broncos and the Vikings?
No.
Sad.
We'll
keep our. Can we talk about my boys? Can we talk about my boy?
Yeah.
Mr. Purdy
Let's go.
Not even back. Just reminding everybody who he is. He is.
Wow.
Man, he looked like the guy that I knew he was.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to say it. What did you, you have any thoughts on that? Because I'm going to go off.
Purdy was perfect. He was perfect.
And he was so perfect that he had the best QBR.
Yes, the perfect QBR score, right?
I had to go. I was like 158. That is the first time since this quarterback named Joe Montana in 1989. That was literally the last time that we had a if you remember, I'll tell you when I'm wrong and I'll tell you when totally blew it. But I will tell you when I'm right. Do you remember when we talked about this? I said, guys, I've watched every single 49er game, and I have watched every single Brock Purdy game, and he has that thing.
Yeah.
And I don't care that he had a couple bad games. They had the 3 losses. He has the poise. He has the humility.
Yeah.
He has the sense in the pocket. Like, I'm telling you, I won't say he's, well, I can't say, I don't know that there'll ever be a next Montana.
Yeah.
But what I can say is he is our franchise quarterback. I believe that 100%.
Amazing.
Even if he has another bad game, I'm not going to take that. I'm telling you, I've gone through I've gone through Kaepernick. I've gone through Alex Smith. I've gone through Jimmy G. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nate, Trey. I mean, we haven't had that guy that is consistent. And I'm sorry, but we have our guy.
Yeah.
For under $1 million, might I add. For under $1 million. We have the best.
I just see him on that Iowa farm or whatever on his little tractor. That's like where my mind goes.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, and I had posted about Brock. It was interesting because Brock last year, his first full game was against Tampa Bay. If you recall, the game before that, he went in for Jimmy G. Because Jimmy G got injured, right?
That's right.
So Tampa Bay last year was his first full game. Remember, his parents were in the stands.
Yes.
And they were crying. And it was like this beautiful moment to see that this was his chance. Mr. Irrelevant, again, to remind everybody, voted very last in the draft.
Yeah.
And he beat Tom Brady his first game.
Insane.
I get chills thinking about it, So it was like kind of exciting to see him play that team again and see what he would do. And I'm thinking Tampa Bay and the Niners, we can play them every Sunday. I'll be good with that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, let's just give it to him. 158.3 QBR, 21 out of 25, 333 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, when you throw him and then you say the last person to do that was Joe Montana.
Wow.
It was a great day other than our boy got hurt.
An ACL.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
ACL tear.
Hufanga, our safety, is out, formerly of USC. Such a good guy. Really hate to see him lose. But what do we say? Next man up.
Yeah.
And guess who showed up?
Who?
I think you say Jair Brown.
Oh,
I'll call him Mr. Brown for now. Out of Penn State, rookie, clutch interception in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Hufanga went out the third quarter.
Yeah.
So it was towards the end. He comes in and showed out. And I love to see that for especially rookies.
Yeah.
I just love to see that.
And to take your moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And then to have an interception, I believe in the end zone, mind you.
Yeah.
It was a tip ball and he caught it. And I just love to see that. We had 3 TDs, Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey, which irritates me because we missed that one.
1 week when it really needed to keep going. I know.
Could have been. He could have broke the record. 3 sacks, I believe. We had Armstead, Young, Bosa.
Yes.
Meeting at the quarterback.
Monica's favorite song.
I'll be back real soon. But yeah, and Brandon Ayuk just showed out, man. A lot of people don't really mention him, I think, as often as they should. But 5 receptions, 156 yards, 1 TD, 300. He's averaging 300.
Very impressive numbers.
He's doing. Oh, and he got the 76-yard touchdown, the longest for Purdy and his longest.
Wow.
In his career. So that was a great game. If you were a Niner fan, if you were a Bucks fan,
sorry,
maybe not so much. Maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But guess what?
What?
Who plays Thursday night Thanksgiving?
My Lions?
No.
Nope.
The Niners.
Oh.
The Niners and Seattle.
But the Lions play on Thanksgiving.
But they do play on Thanksgiving. Let's switch up. Let's talk about it. Your boys. What did you think?
Okay. The Lions had a rough game. The first 3.5 quarters, where were they? Where were they the first 3.5 quarters? It was a very dismal performance for Goff, I would say. The first it was just not a great game. I was like, when are they? What are they going to do? That thing that they do? Like, where's that Dan Campbell magic?
And they were playing the Bears.
And I just was like, you are better than this. You are better than this.
Justin Fields was back.
Yes, Justin Fields was back on the field, and he had a good game. He did. I have to give him his credit. He had a good game. But then I don't know what magic was sprinkled in the air, like 5 minutes on the clock, and things just turned around. They got the ball back and scored immediately, and then scored again. This was the first time, because I had to write this down because I was like, wait, what? This was the first time all year that any team with that was down by 10 with less than 5 minutes on the clock won their game, because it was like that many things had to go right, that many people had to be that precise with what they did, and they pulled it out.
And Goff had 3 interceptions, right?
Yes, 3 interceptions.
Wow.
So I mean, it was the first half of the game. You kind of were like, where is everybody? Hutchinson had a great game. He was a superstar. He got the game ball from Dan Campbell afterwards. But yeah, it was that resiliency though that I think really sealed the deal for them, because it would have been easy to just throw in the towel and been like, this is not our game. Right. We've already come. I mean, we're in the fourth quarter. Look at the scoreboard. It's not going to happen for us. But I give that credit to Dan Campbell, like that he really instills that in his team, and that he really makes them believe that they can win up until the end of the game. But it doesn't matter if there's 5 minutes on the clock. We can still score twice. Why not? Why couldn't we? And they believe that. And then we see them actually execute and pull out these amazing plays that are game-winning plays.
And I think that's why Dan Campbell is so good for that team.
Yes.
Right? He is a player's coach. You can see that they believe.
Yes.
And that's the kind of coach I love personally.
Yeah.
I like seeing the fire in a coach.
Yes.
Unlike some other coaches around the league, right?
Yeah.
I won't mention names. Well, I probably will, but later. But you know what I mean? But
yeah.
And I just love to see him so hyped. And you know what it is? It's genuine.
It's genuine.
It's genuine with him.
He's so excited.
And he's a fighter.
Yes, and an ex-player. And he feels it in his whole body. And you can't help but believe too. You're like, okay, he believes we could do it. And they did it. And they have, I mean, versus who we were talking about earlier, the rest of the teams they are playing this season there's only one winning team that they are playing the rest of the season. It's the Cowboys.
Right.
I mean, I think we're going to see them lose a couple games just because they're not seasoned. This is, their first rodeo in so many ways. So I don't think that they're going to win every single game, but I mean, they are just looking so amazing. Absolutely playoff contender. I would just hope that they don't get so big in their britches that they kind of go into the playoffs with this bigger ego. I hope that they stay humble, because the teams that they are playing, like I said, are not winning teams. Mm-hmm. So it's like, don't go into the playoffs with this, like, we're amazing.
You
we're
have
amazing.
to keep the fire.
Yes.
And don't play to the level.
Yes.
Because like sometimes that happens, right? Yeah. When you play sports, you're playing not such a great team. You come down instead of staying up.
Yes.
Well, that's a coaching thing.
Yes.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll keep our eye. Speaking of losing, let's give it to Sanaz on her Chargers, man. Get it out now, girl.
Man.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know what to say, man. We have 6 losses, and 3 of them are after we have a lead in the fourth quarter. I feel like we're just finding ways to lose at this point.
Really?
Really big shout out to Quentin Johnson for dropping a perfect pass.
Wow.
Really tight. Really enjoyed that to end my game. I don't get it, dude. We just can't stop the run. Our defense has been shaky since game 1. We've been having issues. Bosa gets a little shaken up, but he's okay. He comes back in. And then you got Coach over here like snapping at reporters after the game.
That was awful.
And, barking like, I'm going to run the defense. Stop asking these questions. Well, we're asking these questions because you're not running the defense very well. So that is why these questions are being asked. And you know what I don't like is waking up in the morning and seeing the rumor mill that Bill Belichick might be the next Chargers coach. Because I promise you this, if you're my next coach, I will not be a Chargers fan next year.
Oh my
God. I don't know what is happening here anymore. And then, like Eckler, like, you're fumbling on the 5-yard line, and Keenan Allen, you're dropping passes. It's just, we love finding ways to lose, man. We love it.
But you know what it reminds me of, to be honest? It reminds me of the Raiders. right? Under Josh McDaniels. So head coaches matter. We should start that hashtag.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because once you get somebody who can lead
Dan
in the
Campbell.
locker room,
Like, look at Dan Campbell.
AP on the Raiders, Antonio Pierce.
Yeah.
I can go down the rabbit hole.
Yes.
And right now,
Versus.
I always say looking outside because I'm not a Charger fan and I don't follow them the way you do. But as an outsider, I've been saying it for like since the season. It's chemistry.
Yeah.
There's zero chemistry in that locker room. And everything you just said right now is testimony to that.
And Belichick would not help that.
Oh
Chemistry
God!
in the that's
he just not a fit for the Chargers either, in my opinion. But
No.
like, here's the thing: when I heard him on Answer That Reporter, right?
Staley, yeah.
Staley. Going back to Staley.
Yeah.
When I heard him, first of all, it was one of those moments. You know how I get with Micah, and I'm like, I had one of those moments where I'm like, because he literally. Do you remember exactly what he said? He basically was like, "I'm running the defense. Don't ask me that question anymore." He's like totally defensive.
Very.
And I don't know if you saw my story. I posted his little rant, and underneath it, I said, "This is exactly what a coach sounds like before he gets fired." This is exactly what a coach sounds like before they get fired.
You're right.
Defensive, and that's not what we want to hear from you, bro.
No.
What we want to hear is, you know what? I take full responsibility as a coach. And I'm going to do what I can to turn this team around.
And when he said specifically, I'm not talking to the fan base, I was like, I'm sorry, were we in the locker room? Who the hell do you think you're here to talk to?
Yeah, that was
you're
classless
here to
to
talk
me.
to media. You're not having a private conversation with your players right now. This is a meeting. This is media. This is fans. Talk to us. And like, for the people out there who are diehard Chargers fans, they deserve to hear what you just said. An apology. We're going to do better. There's plans in place. We're turning things around. Like, make them believe.
It was horrible. And honestly, somebody was talking about it, said, you know what? I know him as a person, and he's really actually a really nice guy. He's like, when I heard that, I was just thinking, bro, that is not a good look. Like,
he's a nice guy who's about to get fired, and he knows it.
Exactly.
So he's backed into a corner.
Exactly.
And he's going to come off really aggressive.
Exactly. And it's sad because it's like, where's your PR person? Because if you want to keep your job, that's not the way to keep your job. By the way, if I'm Keenan Allen, I'm like, really, bro?
Yeah.
Really? And you just said it. The defense has been horrible. So instead of taking responsibility, because you're the one calling the plays, right? He's a defensive coach.
He wants everyone to know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was just.
Yeah.
I was frustrated for the Charger fans, and even though I'm not like a Charger fan, I was pretty like, wow.
And where was that
By
girl?
the way,
Marianne Doe. Where was she?
Who?
You know, Marianne Doe, the Charger fan that was like on her face was like the cover of the Chargers.
Oh, the plant. They called her the plant.
The
I
plant.
didn't know.
NFL plant.
You know, I was like, where was she?
Yeah.
I just thought,
Hey,
like,
she was
where
smart.
has she
She
been?
got out of town. She's like, no, that was just a one game thing. But we can't talk about that game without talking about the Packers for just a second.
Yes.
Let's give them some love.
Okay.
Because actually, Jordan Love, right?
Yes.
Get it?
Yeah.
We gave them some love because they actually won.
Yes.
Okay. They haven't been doing great. And by the way, I was like, who is this Jordan guy? He's from Bakersfield, California. And he's got his stats were 27 out of 40 passes, 322 yards, 2 touchdowns. But more importantly, are you ready for one of my nuggets today?
Bring it. Let's go.
Ask me when his birthday is.
When's his birthday?
Does November 2nd ring a bell?
Your birthday
Damn.
twins?
So
Ooh, he's a spicy
my
Scorpio.
birthday is November 2nd. Jimmy G's birthday is November 2nd. And now we have Jordan Love.
Wow.
So I expect him to be playing much better if you're going to share my birthday. Okay? Much better. But everybody was saying that he actually showed out, that he actually was probably one of his best games.
Yeah.
And that, some of the fan base was like, felt like, okay, like they could breathe for a minute. Like, okay, he might be okay.
Yeah.
Like we might be able to get some wins under this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Jordan Love. But
Oh, quick also, friend of the show, Kenny Clark Jr. We almost went to his training camp and there was just some scheduling conflicts there, but he had a huge play. He totally turned out and he looked amazing. That was a play of the game, I think. And he was just absolutely amazing.
And where is he from?
He's a little 909 boy, just like me. He's from Rialto, so.
And you did a moniker.
I did it backwards.
Yeah, I heard Kenny Clark. I'm like, oh, that's our boy,
that's
friend
our
of the
boy.
show.
Yes.
I always like when Wendy Williams used to say friend of the show.
Yes.
So he's a friend of the show.
He's a friend of the show.
He's a friend of the show.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Kenny Clark. But I mean, there's so many games to talk about, but I feel like we do need to talk about Dallas and the Panthers.
Dak.
What do you think? I mean, Bryce is your boy, right?
Bryce Young.
Speaking of the 909.
Oh, no, CJ Stroud.
I always forget.
I know. You mix them up. It's okay.
I mix them up. Okay, but we still want to talk about the Panthers.
We do.
And Dallas.
Yes.
I mean, if you're a Panthers fan, they are the last in the league.
They are 1-9,
In fact,
friends.
I got my little, just to make sure. Yeah, 1-9. 1-9 for the number one pick of the draft last year.
Wow, it must be so hard to be a Panthers fan. That must just such a bitter taste in your mouth.
I guess Micah Parsons had 2 scoops of dry pre-workout before the game and then just started vomiting during the game like profusely 2-3 times.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Micah?
So what would he take that for?
I don't know. I mean, I'm feeling like the days I work out, if I want to just, I would mix it with a little water, but he probably just didn't want to have to go pee. You know,
Wow.
and he's like, I'm just going to take this in dry and just vomiting everywhere, but he's still pulling out a win. Micah's just weird. He's just a weird dude, man. Like, he's got his own shtick.
Though.
No, he's totally likable. He's just a weird cat.
He's a little,
I dig it.
Oh, I love your.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
She loves it.
Good for you.
On the Cowboys, you have to kind of bring something. You know, you got to have a little personality, I feel. So, yeah.
I saw a meme. I don't know why I think this is funny, but it's cute. So I guess Dak is dating like a Hispanic, a really beautiful girl.
Okay.
And the meme, it wasn't even a meme. It was just like, get yourself a Latina and then you start like winning games, I guess.
Oh, okay, Dak.
Shout out to my Latinas.
I mean,
okay, Dak.
I love it.
Hey, you never know. But here's my nugget.
Okay.
For the podcast. So by the way, we can't talk about Dallas without saying that Jerry Jones has finally allowed Jimmy Johnson to go into the Ring of Honor. Now, you guys are young. I don't even know if you know who Jimmy Johnson is. Does anybody know? He was at Dallas. In fact, he was their quarterback for many years. And he had got them 2 back-to-back Super Bowls.
What year is this about?
So, you're going to get me. I actually do know. 92 and 93.
Okay.
So 92, you were probably just born.
I know. I was
whatever.
I
was not. I was very much alive at that age. But no, Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson have history together. They actually were in Arizona, I think, with the Razorbacks or something, or played together.
Yeah.
So they had known each other. And when Jerry Jones was time to get rid of Tom Landry, which is a legendary coach for the Dallas Cowboys, he actually got Jimmy Johnson. There's a lot of J's.
Yes.
There's a lot of J's going on, right? There's a lot of J's. And so he got Jimmy Johnson to, be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Jimmy Johnson was actually known for one of the best trades. I won't even get into that, but he got some major players when he let go of another player. That's a whole nother thing. But all that to say, they had a falling out after the second Super Bowl.
Okay.
Oh.
And
I was wondering where's drama. I was like, where's
I
the
can
drama?
only imagine
Yeah,
the
where is it?
egos, right?
Egos.
Jimmy Johnson
Okay.
has an ego. He just got you 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones.
Okay.
Right. And I could imagine there was probably a little power struggle. I can imagine. But whatever it was, it went really bad.
Yeah.
For him not to be in the Ring of Honor for this many years.
Yeah.
Think about it, 1993. Where are we at right now? Is that like 30 years or something?
Yeah.
30 years.
I mean,
whole
that's
life.
crazy, right? So, there is, by the way, when you have a Ring of Honor or something like that per team, every team is different. Their criteria is different. Okay.
Each team.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's some criteria. You have 2 Super Bowls and it's 30 years and you're still not in, and you're letting other players in.
Yeah. With
that
less?
haven't with less.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal today. This for Dallas fans that they're finally letting him in. But here's my nugget. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wait, what? So I guess he wrote a book, or it's a known fact that Jimmy Johnson went to high school in Texas. The name of the high school is Thomas Jefferson High.
Okay.
With a famous singer named Janis Joplin.
Huh. Cool.
No kidding.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Here's the worst part. He bullied her.
Oh.
He bullied her.
Not the mean jock in real life.
Yes, the mean
to
jock.
the artsy songwriter.
Yeah, he bullied Janis. And this is like I'm not talking.
The tale
like,
as old as time.
You could Google it. Yep. And because she was different, because she was artsy, he was a jock, and then that kind of hurt my heart. Now I'm like kind of mad.
Yeah, you're the artsy songwriter.
Yes.
You can relate.
I'm like, leave the songwriter alone. Yeah, and so I thought I did not know that.
Me either.
But see, that's my
Look
nugget.
at you down there.
I know. I'm always trying to find you girls something. But yeah, I mean, I think we can't leave here without talking about at least one more game, and that would be the Jets and the Bills.
Ooh.
I think what sums up the poor Jets is him walking all by himself backwards, back to the huddle.
Yeah.
And he trips.
Oh,
he just
I didn't see
tripped.
that.
Did you see that? Yes. You didn't see that?
Sucks. No, I didn't see that.
Sanaz.
I shouldn't laugh.
Nobody
sucks.
around him.
It's just
nobody
Got
around
snipered.
him. Walking back to like the huddle
Yeah,
by
those
himself.
snipers
and
will get
just
ya.
Falls back. I mean,
know?
it wasn't good.
The Jets defense is just like, we're over this. Like every week we show up, every week we're pushing, every week we're doing something and we're getting no help offensively. Like they've hit the F it button. And you know what, Aaron, if you really want to come back week 16, like I don't know what the point of that would be, but good luck, brother.
yeah. There's not going to be anything to come back to. This season's going to get wrapped up real quick now.
Why come back?
No,
I just can't
thank
for the
you.
life
To
of
a
me
dumpster
figure
fire?
it.
And then the Bills, and then wasn't there another injury and they had more ambulances on the field? I feel like that's a
that's
terrifying thing for the Bills.
Yeah.
I heard so many ambulances on the field during Bills games, guys.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. It's not I don't know. The Bills just don't seem still, even with that win, it just doesn't, they don't seem like the Bills of old. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know. I wish I had some insider to the Buffalo Bills.
yeah.
If you have some inside information, let us be your TMZ of football. Slide into our DMs.
Yeah.
What is happening to the Bills? What is happening? But yeah, I mean, pretty much it was, like you said, this week was, besides the Chiefs and the Eagles,
Yes.
really two winning teams weren't.
No, there are no winning teams playing each other this week. So on Sunday. So that was obviously not the Chiefs and the Eagles, but on Sunday. So it just felt a little mismatched. It just felt a little like uneven.
Yeah.
And like there just wasn't a lot of equal weight, to the games.
And by the way, on the way here, we would be remiss. The offensive coach for the Steelers got fired.
He did.
Right.
So Matt
did.
Canada is finally gone. A lot of people were calling for his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. That locker room's so dysfunctional. They were interviewing some guys, and I don't remember who it was. They asked him, like, do you think this team is all behind a winning team at the moment?
Oh, I saw
And
that
his
too.
response was like, I don't want to talk about the team. I just want to talk about myself. You could tell there's something going wrong there. And that Browns game was weird. I think it was Mike Ward for the Browns picking up a terrible towel and wiping his butt with it after the game. Like it's a rough go. That's hard going into a holiday too, like.
Oh, wow.
Well, and DTR, they call him, I think his name's Darian Thomas Robinson.
Yes.
From UCLA, right?
Yes.
Round 5, 140th pick, came in and got the win.
Yeah.
For the Cleveland Browns. I love what Myles Garrett's doing right now. It's
insane. Though.
he is leading the sacks, by the way. I think I have that somewhere.
Dude, the Browns, man, they had 3 sacks, 9 tackles for losses. The Browns defense is strong.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
he's
that,
got
man.
13 sacks
4
on the
passes
year.
defended. I think it was 4.
Yeah.
They're doing great right now.
Yeah, and
Myles
he's got
Garrett. He's
13. He's leading the sacks.
Yeah.
And Joe Flacco is coming in.
I just love his name so much.
What? I don't know if they made him official yet, but by the way, on that game, it was kind of a big thing for the Cleveland Browns and probably added to their excitement for that win. But Jim Donovan, the announcer who's called the games for the Cleveland Browns since 1999,
Wow.
diagnosed with leukemia for a while, but took, I guess, took a turn. So week 1, he hasn't been back, and so this was his first game back.
Oh,
so it was like
special.
it was special for the
Love
Browns
that.
to win that game, you know.
Yeah.
But your
Browns,
boy
though.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. Well, his son. Just kidding.
The Giants pulled it out, though. We should give New York a little bit of love, right? Not,
I guess.
Damn it.
That was
I'm
surprising.
gonna call him Tommy DeVito.
I know.
What did Danny DeVito
Danny
for?
DeVito forever.
I don't know, but I mean that's
The only quarterback to have won an NFL game still living at home with his parents.
He went home and had a nice dinner, I bet.
Yeah, and mommy
Oh
tucked him
my
into
God.
bed too. Mommy tucked
So
him into
weird.
bed, gave him a stuffed animal. turned
So
off his
weird.
lights.
Before we go, I gotta ask the question:
Okay.
who kept it sexy this week? Who is your pick?
Oh gosh. Okay. Even though I'm not an Eagles fan at all, Jalen Hurts, he kept it sexy. Last
Really?
night was
Okay.
an impressive performance, and not at home, not in his element, but he pulled it out. Best scoring, or best team in the league right now. So yeah, pretty
Okay,
sexy
that's your
to
pick.
be a winner. That's my pick.
Okay, Jalen Hurts. Sanaz.
You know, my pick's Jalen Hurts too, but for a different reason.
Ooh, tell me.
Because a clip came out of him. Somebody took a photo of the background of his phone, and it's a picture of him at the Super Bowl with Kansas City confetti falling behind him, and he's looking down at the ground. And I love that kind of like petty push. Like, look at that and remember how shitty you felt, and use that to motivate you. And I like that, so I give that to him.
I
It's
love
my pick.
that. I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go. I'm gonna tell you what mine.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I'm gonna say this. Maybe because I have a sense of humor.
I'm not ready.
I was like, okay, I feel like if we could give it to a team who
Okay.
kept it sexy,
Okay.
but since we can't, if we could, I would say I feel like I'd have to give it to the Broncos for pulling it out,
Okay.
for turning it around, for
Wow.
getting rid of the visor, for coming, doing their thing, and then I would reluctantly want to say I would maybe give it to Russell Wilson, but I'm
are
glad.
you?
I know, because you know what? I love people that come back, right?
Yeah,
And
you
he's
do.
been through
You
hell.
have a soft spot for that.
He's been through hell, but since we are democratic,
Yeah.
we're gonna go with Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
will make that a
Okay.
unanimous decision. Jalen Hurts, you are almost our player of the week, but we call it who kept it sexy this week. Now, before we go, also don't forget we have Thanksgiving. We have 3 games, girls.
And our first Black Friday game, guys. This is the NFL's first Black Friday game. It's going to be Dolphins and Jets. We all do a little shopping on Black Friday, so have your phones out, watch a little football. But if you're looking for Black Friday stuff to buy, we are going to have each of our own discount codes on our Instagrams. Keep an eye out. Check out our gear. This is our first edition gear. We have second edition coming out. Once this is gone, it is gone.
Yep.
So be sure to check us out. Check out our gear. Watch some football. Have some fun with your family. And just be grateful for everything we have.
Absolutely. And by the way, I'm just saying, here's the lineup. Packs and Lions, which is like the tradition, right?
Yeah.
But guess who's going to be the halftime show? My favorite song right now, by the way, Jack Harlow.
Oh.
Jack Harlow is going to be the halftime show.
Okay.
Loving on Me. I won't get into it. I'm vanilla, baby.
Oh.
Whatever.
Is
Okay.
Money Mom's
and then
coming out.
Commanders versus Cowboys.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton is going to be the halftime show.
Atta girl.
I'm here for the concert.
I love
Atta girl
me
DP.
some Parton. I love me some Dolly Parton.
gonna be
and
good.
then to end it,
Okay.
my boys, the 49ers versus Seattle.
Yes.
And I had to look this one up.
Uh-oh.
I was like, you had me, Jack Harlow,
Yeah.
Dolly Parton. I'm like, okay, who's going to be the Niners? And then they said DJ Stevie Aoki.
Steve Aoki is one of the best DJs in the world. So we should be so lucky. Hopefully he brings out a giant cake and throws it in someone's face. That's his shtick. But that's really cool, actually. Steve Aoki's
I'm
awesome.
excited. If you're excited, I'm
Father
excited.
owned
say-
Benihana. Fun fact.
Oh, see, she dropped her nugget. So the older Monica did not. I was like, who is this guy? I was like really excited, but now,
Yes,
I'm
plug us
back
in.
in.
Yes.
I'm back in.
All
Well,
right.
as always, keep following us on Football is Sexy, and happy Thanksgiving.